The scale of modern safety-critical assets, offshore platforms, onshore refineries, and thousands of kilometers of pipelines presents a unique engineering challenge. These interconnected systems run continuously under immense pressures and volatile conditions. Major accidents in these environments are statistically rare, but when they do occur, the consequences for human life, the surrounding environment, and a company's license to operate are absolute. When the interacting barriers designed to contain these extreme hazards fail, the physical results are catastrophic. There is a dangerous professional misconception that risk is simply a static number. Engineering teams often calculate a probability, document it in a spreadsheet, file it away, and consider the asset safe. Risk is not a number. It is an active, continuous decision system that governs the design, operation, and physical modification of an asset. Moving away from passive mathematical calculations to a physical, active decision architecture is the only way to effectively manage operational trade-offs and prevent major industrial failures. Accurately mapping this architecture requires choosing the right diagnostic tools for the specific phase of a project's lifecycle. During early concept and screening phases, teams rely on HAZID, or hazard identification, and simple checklists. HAZID is a high-level qualitative technique used to catch broad, unknown vulnerabilities before a design is finalized. As the project moves into the design and modification phase, engineers apply tools like HAZOP, FMEA, and LOPA. LOPA stands for Layers of Protection Analysis, a semi-quantitative tool used to test whether individual safeguards are truly independent of one another. For major hazard quantification, teams use fault or event trees and QRA. QRA, or Quantitative Risk Assessment, assigns numerical frequencies to potential accidents to evaluate land use planning and determine if localized risk zones are tolerable. Once the asset is live, the focus shifts to operations and abnormal states, relying on operational risk assessments and continuous barrier health reviews to manage temporary deviations. A common operational vulnerability is familiar tool bias, where a team uses a well-known risk technique out of habit rather than selecting the specific tool required for that exact phase. Applying a design phase tool to a live operational deviation creates invisible gaps in safeguards. This misallocates engineering effort to the wrong risk drivers and directly increases the probability of a major process safety event. A completed risk assessment document does not physically stop an explosion. Theoretical risk outputs must be translated into tangible operational controls. These mitigations manifest in the field as safety critical elements, or SCEs. These are the physical hardware systems, like emergency shutdown valves and fire suppression pumps, that prevent or mitigate major accidents. Every safety critical element requires strict, measurable performance standards. These standards explicitly define what a good operational state looks like in terms of reliability, survivability, and independence. Regulators operate with a goal-setting mindset, expecting operators to demonstrate their controls reduce risk to ALARP. ALARP stands for as low as reasonably practicable, meaning the cost of further risk reduction would be highly disproportionate to the safety benefit gained. Maintaining this ALARP standard over a decades-long lifespan requires an architectural framework known as the assurance loop. The first two steps are to define the performance standards and then constantly verify them. This means continuously feeding the system with objective data from physical inspections, equipment tests, and site audits. The final steps are to learn and improve. Data from near misses, degraded mechanisms, and operational deviations must feed back into the system to update procedures and close design gaps. There is a sharp distinction between an organizational claim, what a company internally believes is safe, and the objective argument and evidence that regulators demand to prove it. True regulatory assurance relies entirely on this living feedback loop. Physical barrier testing and continuous organizational learning must constantly validate the theoretical risk model against field reality. Evaluating these barriers strictly as physical hardware ignores the unpredictable reality of daily operations. A complete safety barrier is socio-technical. It is the combination of the hardware, the procedures governing its use, the competence of the people executing it, and the management system overseeing the entire process. The 1988 Piper Alpha disaster illustrates this systemic breakdown. The platform's destruction was driven by physical barrier degradation, compounded by severe permit-to-work failures and fatal communication gaps during shift handovers. The 2010 Deepwater Horizon blowout shows what happens when risk outputs fail to influence critical operational choices. The risk framework collapsed under real-world human pressure as teams succumbed to schedule demands and routinely dismissed weak signals of well integrity failure. The 2005 Texas City refinery explosion provides a study in organizational drift and flawed leadership indicators. Management measured minor personal safety metrics on a weekly basis, effectively blinding themselves to the rising, catastrophic process risks building up inside the plant's distillation towers. The Bunsfield Oil Depot fire later that year was a failure of independent layers of protection, characterized by extreme instrumentation dependence and poor alarm management. Across these 4 events, the hardware alone rarely caused the disaster. These were failures of human competence, extreme workload conditions, and organizational cultures that ignored the warning signs of degraded barriers. This socio-technical vulnerability peaks during transient operations, such as startup, shutdown, and maintenance. This chart shows how risk profiles change during different operating modes. During steady-state operations, hardware barriers run automatically, but in transient states, these automatic protections must frequently be degraded, bypassed, or taken offline entirely to perform work. The 2018 explosion at the Husky Superior Refinery demonstrates the extreme vulnerability of these periods. The incident did not occur during normal production. It happened during a shutdown for a plant-wide turnaround. Crews failed to properly verify inerting, purging, and isolation procedures. This allowed air and hydrocarbons to mix inside the fluid catalytic cracking unit, triggering a massive explosion. Transient modes require entirely distinct, hyper-robust procedures, specialized operator training, and rigorous monitoring specific to the state of the degraded hardware. Because transient operations strip away automated physical protections, the risk model must dynamically adapt. It must strictly govern human actions and verify exact operational conditions before any change in state occurs. Managing these dynamic risk models is shifting from reactive tracking to predictive digital safety engineering. Artificial intelligence and machine learning now enable condition-based monitoring, detecting early hardware degradation through subtle changes in vibration, corrosion rates, or valve performance long before a human inspector would notice. Digital twins allow operators to run what-if scenarios. They can test exactly how a degraded barrier will perform against specific weather conditions and production demands before a real-world crisis develops. But integrating artificial intelligence into safety systems require strict guardrails. These models demand rigorous validation, clear explainability, active drift monitoring, and robust cybersecurity. Digital algorithms can process millions of data points to find recurring precursors to failure. However, they must be governed and audited with the exact same rigor as a physical pressure relief valve. For engineering teams and technical project managers, the primary directive is clear. Process safety must be actively engineered, not passively assumed. The reality of complex asset management demands 4 disciplines. Match your risk analysis tool to the project phase. Rigidly verify the performance standards of safety-critical elements. You must strictly govern all of your transient operations and constantly audit the human factors surrounding your hardware. Regulators do not evaluate what a company internally believes is safe. They evaluate the unbroken chain of argument and the objective proof of control. Major accidents aren't prevented by filing away risk calculations. They're defeated by engineering a relentless, socio-technical decision system that validates every barrier every day.